All right, everybody, we are ready for more action in this fight between Misfits Gaming and the Mysterious Monkeys. Now, Misfits, they've got the lead. They're hoping to stand victorious yet again in game number 2. And it looks like a very different, honestly, style of play than we have seen out of Misfits in recent weeks.
Yeah, said it, I think, 10 times during the game. Loved it.
Let's make it 11.
I think a team that's been struggling with closing out games, drafting like 5 ways of engaging, tons of mobility. It actually makes so much sense. And it was very effective because they could force Barons at 20 minutes to get a team fight. They could force almost any objective. I don't think there was really a way to avoid the fights if you were Mysterious Monkeys, because they didn't run like a ton of disengage either, or a ton of wave clear that like Vladimir mid lane. So they were kind of forced to just take the fights, which was obviously in favor of Misfits after the early game.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it, because the early game I feel was pretty pivotal for Misfits. We had discussed coming into this week, they just hadn't quite had the level of impact that we thought they would, given the fact that they seem really active. They play for the early game a lot of the time, but they just weren't coming up with big gold leads. As we showed in that game, it just wasn't really happening for them, and opponents were kind of keeping even pace with them despite this activity. So this time around, it was really nice to see them making big plays that, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 times out of 6 worked out.
Exactly.
The only big mistake in my mind has to be when they tried to dive Kikis down bot and realized they didn't have damage on that Jarvan.
Yeah, and I guess they maybe just kind of overestimated how much damage they would have.
Everybody makes oopsies, right?
Exactly. Like, in the end, he almost died, so it was a small mistake, definitely. They ended up costing him a few kills. But before that, the fact that Hansama and Ignar just won their lane straight up 2v2. Got kills, got, like, massive CS advantage. That was huge, because it gave a very good lane to play around for Misfits, where they, no matter where they sent Hansama, he would just win his lane and just push, push, push. And it gave him a lot of pressure. Yeah,
and it really challenged the conventional wisdom that PowerOfEvil, the man on your screen, had to be the primary carry for every single Misfits game.
He was a support this time.
Yeah, he was, but he still out-damaged Hansama, by the way, just barely.
True.
But speaking of supports, I mean, also, Ignar on this Recon was insane. Like, these were some huge plays for this team.
I feel like we say this every week. Ignar, in this meta on engaged supports, like, that's just his meta. He didn't look that good when it was Xayah, Karma, that kind of stuff. When he can play tanks, when he can play all-in champions, even Alistar, things like that, that's where he can really shine and he can look fantastic. And he's a super vocal member. I think everyone has seen the clips of him screaming.
It may not always be in English, but hey,
sure,
you know, if
sometimes.
you're still getting people pumped, that's all you need.
As long as people understand the go part and they are following you in, then that's enough to go for the fights. And that's something we see from him as a support and where he really shines. So it's very good for Misfits that it's still this, you know, engaged, tanky support meta, because that's, you know, his forte.
Well, also, I feel like Rakan is the perfect champion for him, because even if the team doesn't go in right away, he's like, oh, okay, never mind, I'm going to go ahead and jump out again. Just to give you guys a quick update, what is going on? Amazing, jungler for Mysterious Monkeys is not feeling well at the moment, so league officials are allowing him some extra time to get back on stage, but that also gives us some extra time to talk about the Mysterious Monkeys and what really went wrong that game.
Oh, what went wrong?
There was a few things, but...
yeah, there were definitely a few things. I think some of it were individual things, like losing the bot lane, some missed opportunities on ganks as well. That kind of meant Mysterious Monkeys never really got the gold advantage when they could have actually been able to have a very even early game. We see Amazing has now entered the stage. He is ready once again.
Yeah, we'll see what he gets done this time around. I also want to give some props to his teammate CozQ, because CozQ was honestly one of the big reasons that those fights didn't go completely lopsided. Even when there was a massive Misfits gold lead, he was still able to at least take somebody down with him. His Vlad play was impressive. Still very aggressive player, but he's making it work for him.
Yeah, the Vladimir game was probably one of his best games on stage here in the EU LCS. Fine laning phase. He even was forced to flash at level 2 because the random Maokai just appeared out of nowhere, and he still managed to actually get a fine laning phase and some early kills. And it was a shame for him that then his team couldn't keep up. Obviously, Kikis were pretty fed on the Jace, but Jace can't really help with team fights. He's almost a pure split pusher.
But this time, Mysterious Monkeys have identified a change, a pattern that they want to try to eliminate, getting rid of the Kalista. The other bans had been the same, with Rek'Sai LeBlanc banned by Misfits.
This means either Zac or Cho'Gath is left open. Last game, it was Elise, Cho'Gath, Zac in that order as well. Now they can only ban one of them or leave both open and trade Zac for Cho'Gath. I think Zac is still like so good you should just ban him. And then you gotta just give the enemy the Cho'Gath.
I mean, there are lots of other tanky junglers you can start to look to, right? Like, one thing we haven't seen on this patch that I think might just make an appearance is the Rammus.
The Rammus.
Maybe not this
There are so many junglers above the Rammus.
Oh, I want to see it, man.
All right, so they're trying to set up that trade. We just mentioned Xayah for Cho'Gath seems to be the choice. I think Xayah is still the best, and I really agree with Misfits here in first picking it. Mysterious Monkeys, do you want to play the Cho'Gath? Kikis wants to play split pushing carries. That's not Cho'Gath. He's a tank.
Yeah. I mean,
they can take it for jungle,
Amazing can also go onto the Gragas once again as well. And yeah, Kikis, for his part, I wonder what he will take, but not in this rotation. I'm thinking the Braum gets locked in first for Dreams. That part's the same so far. Yeah,
Braum is still one of the best supports available, so that does make a lot of sense. Rakan is open, though, for Ignar if he wants to play it again. Which would be probably a very good idea. Because look, guys, Misfits have already drafted Insane Engage. They have Xayah. Add some more and play the same style as the first game. So that's why Mysterious Monkeys are taking away the Xayah, because they don't want to risk the Xayah-Rakan combo coming from Misfits here. Smart choice. You can still take the Cho'Gath next time around. Unless Misfits here wants to play Cho'Gath top lane.
It's always a possibility. See if Alphari fancies that one as the rotation's gone back their way.
That would be an unkillable front line. Like a 7,000 HP Cho'Gath and a Xayah in their face.
All right, so they're going to actually value early picking on PowerOfEvil once again. Last time it was the Syndra, and it still was up and available, but he opted instead for the Orianna.
Yeah, interesting choice. He didn't want to play the Syndra again. Maybe the Vladimir did actually make him think twice. Obviously, also the ball delivery system with a Orianna Xayah is very, very strong from them. I think Misfits are still debating if they need to take the Rakan now to deny that, or if they want to go Cho'Gath. Instead, they lock in Varus, game 11 for Hansama on this champion.
I am disappointed. I wanted to see another explosive AD carry.
Because this means the Monkeys are going to ban Rakan, and that does remove a bit of engage tools from Misfits. Sorry, they can also take the Rakan, obviously, for Dreams right now. They would have to do it. Wait, what am I talking about? There's a Braum already. I am so lost
I mean, they technically could do something really, really weird, put Braum elsewhere, but I don't think that's going to happen. Instead, CozQ takes himself a Syndra. I know the pick ban phase has been a little disorienting to
I was looking straight at Xayah. I didn't even see a buffer. There was a Braum, so I'm like, yeah, sure, they're going to go Rakan here. No, they're going to ban Rakan, as I said in the first place. You just trust the first point I made, Pirate, before I confused myself.
I should have, man. I'm sorry, I didn't get you back
that was my mistake. My mistake right there. CozQ gets his Syndra, though. I think he's more than happy with this matchup. So for Mysterious Monkeys, with the draft, I like more than the last one, mainly also because Misfits Gaming are not sitting with 3 champions that can force really easy team fights just yet. I think it requires more coordination with Varus and Orianna right now for Misfits. Can still draft a Jarvan top lane for Alphari, and maybe you look at things like an Alistar bot lane for Ignar.
That's possible. I mean, that's up the alley with the engage for sure. We'll see what the rest of the bans are. That Cho'Gath was banned away by Misfits Gaming, and now it's 7 seconds on the Mysterious Monkeys. What are they going to focus on as that timer ticks down? It's going to be the Tom Kench.
All right. I mean, judging from the support pool at the moment, obviously a lot of things have been removed already. Blitzcrank has fallen a bit out of meta, just because you don't really want to play him in team fights against all these tanks. There is 2 other supports I really want to see climb their way into the European meta. It is Taric and Trundle. I know some supports think you can play Trundle against Braum, and other supports think you can't really. Sorry, you can play Taric against Braum. Some people don't like Taric against Braum. Everyone kind of thinks that you can pick Trundle against Braum, except for a few guys who say, no, Braum is actually good against Trundle. So these supports against the Braum specifically, there's a lot of different opinions on when do you pick the Taric, when do you pick the Trundle. I think you just pick it for the team comp and not for the lane.
Appears to be, but what they have picked for the team as well is that Sejuani now. So Amazing will have a chance to get things a little cold up in here, combining up with that Braum. So now that is a lot of CC, a lot of sticking power on the Mysterious Monkey side. And
give me Taric and Trundle.
Gonna go to an old Ignar favorite.
Alistar is another one we talked about for some engage. I think that's fine as well. Not the easiest laning phase here for the Alistar, but he is against a melee support on the other side. So we do get Ignar's Alistar. Fits in like the Rakan. You can also go Talisman on it, something I'm actually a fan of, just to get that movement speed buff.
All right, so the last question left is where are the top laners going to go?
I mean, Jarvan is open as a fine pick to go for here.
Blind.
And they go for it anyway. So Kikis top lane, I want to see Jax from him. He's sticking to the split push. It's a fine matchup against the Jarvan once you get past the early lane.
He gets to add a new champion.
He gets to add a new champion. This is okay as well, but I think if you are Kikis, you got to commit fully to the split push. He doesn't do it. He wants a bit more presence in the early game, and I can't really blame him. I just really wanted to see Jax. And no one is giving me what I want, you know, in this game here. There was no Braum Rakan locked in for Mysterious Monkeys for some reason. They could have done that.
Kikis Braum top. Like, honestly, I would not put it past him.
That could have happened, and then I would have been right. Best prediction in the world.
Yeah, you know, I knew a guy once, way back in NA solo queue days. He used to do Braum with attack speed and crit.
See, if that guy was here, that could have happened. Also, no Trundle or Taric for me. But I am also happy to see Alistar for Ignar. I want to see him engage. I want to see him being the front line. And that's another tool right now. If PowerOfEvil misses a single shockwave in this game, we can all laugh at him because he has Zac, Jarvan, and Alistar to deliver that ball in the face of Mysterious Monkeys.
Ooh, ball's definitely in his court right now. Pressure on from Deficio, not to miss a single shockwave. We've definitely
seen
okay
if they flash it or something.
Yeah,
that's
of course,
fine.
That doesn't count. You got the summoner spells out of it. But all the same, there are so many delivery systems here on the side of Misfits Gaming. They're looking to close this one out with a 2-0. It looked pretty clean from that team the last time around.
Yep.
But the Monkeys, they still have a shot. They need to be able to pick up these points if they want to have any chance of climbing out of that relegation zone over in their group.
And they're close. They can see Vitality right in front of them. Just one win ahead of the Mysterious Monkeys. Luckily though for the Monkeys, Vitality play tomorrow against a new G2 Esports, a better G2 Esports, meaning it's going to be very difficult for Vitality to get that win.
But it is all about the Monkeys and the Misfits here on Summoner's Rift for Game 2, as they will be loading on up. Let's see if the Monkeys can force themselves number 3.
Yeah, and we get some cowbell as well from Ignar.
Oh,
and
baby.
After
That's what I live for.
Consider my worst pick and ban phase to date, we are in the game, Pyra.
Okay.
And
glad you moved through it.
I managed to move past it. I can acknowledge my mistakes. And we get to see Misfits run a similar draft to the one last time, where once again, the name of the game is engage. Start, fight. See, that guy loves me, so I like him too.
Okay, perfect.
I only like him, I don't love him. I only like him. Yeah, I'm not a slut.
Well, he sounds a little disappointed, but all right. What else do you like in this game, Deficio? We talked about the engage, but what about the Monkeys? What are they packing that you especially think is going to do well here?
Ooh, I think they have very strong lanes where they can actually get quite a big advantage from. A top lane with the Renekton, Syndra, as well as CozQ plays it well in the mid lane.
Yes!
We get the cowbell in the bottom lane.
I love you, Ignar.
I think also, like, the funny thing about this meta is a lot of times both teams are drafting comps that can really do well in team fights. And it might be either like pure scaling or the small things in favor of one team. When you look at team fight, I think Mysterious Monkeys in this game will be slightly weaker in that aspect, but not enough to say they can't win 5-on-5 team fights, because they still have, you know, strong front line, Braum, Renekton, Sejuani. You got tons of damage from Syndra and Xayah. So it's not like they're lacking anything for a good team fight. It's just on the other side, you have the Orianna ball with 3 massive tanks that can force engages.
Yeah, execution is definitely going to be key, and we saw the Monkeys were just not able to do it on a grand scale the last time around, but perhaps this early game will go a little differently for them. Kikis on this Renekton, be dueling up against Alphari's Jarvan to kick things off.
Yeah, and this is one of the lanes we need to look at. Kikis on that Renekton, when he played it last week, was looking very good on it and was actually able to get quite a big advantage for himself in the split push game. He wants to do the same against Alphari up in that top lane. Amazing on Sejuani, you can gank early on. Obviously, I advise people waiting for level 6 before they really pull them off, but it's not unusual. We see like a level 3 or 4 gank from a Sejuani, but the lane needs to bring some CC. Renekton has a stun. Syndra, stun as well. So there are 2 soul laners Amazing could look at for early gank. Sadly for him, PowerOfEvil's running cleanse.
Well, there's also the bottom lane too, not to forget that once Yuki has a few more levels, he'll have himself a root once he can get that Blade Caller back in. Now, let's check back in the mid because PowerOfEvil's trying to 2-step away from CozQ. He's also dishing out a lot of speed. Gets himself up on that Storm Raider Surge to be able to move a little faster.
And
I don't think he'll be making the same build, but yeah, he's got the Ghost too.
He will not build the same way because he has Ghost in this game, so he doesn't need the Frost Queens for that extra movement speed. Kikis is trying to be annoying here.
Well, he's certainly succeeding. I think Maxlore will be able to beat him out with that smite, though.
So, okay, he can also take the Blast Cone out, which is always nice to deny that path for a potential gank. Amazing. Can't really gank mid lane right now. CozQ is putting full pressure on it. He's looking top instead. Alphari, let's see if he's actually pushing the lane back. This is the classic Amazing gank top. And they remember that stun from Kikis to set it up.
It was too easy as Alphari walked right into it, but it's a slice. Kikis can't quite get the dice.
Yeah, and they don't get enough damage on because it was Amazing jumping in first, simply because Alphari was about to face check to place a ward. So Amazing didn't really have a choice right here. But if they had timed it with like a Renekton stun into the engage from Amazing, maybe they got more damage. They still got the flash though, so it's a win for Mysterious Monkeys, and they can look to maybe return top lane. The lane is still pushing for Alphari, and behind him, Maxlore is there to guarantee that Alphari can push the lane out, and he's safe. That's why he's in this brush here, just kind of channel recall, cancel, channel again. If Amazing shows up a second time though, Alphari is overextended, and Maxlore is gone, Alphari should leave as well.
Okay, see if he starts making moves down there. Now, PowerOfEvil is, I think, a player that we always have to say is synonymous with Orianna. It's one of those champions that definitely has been a signature pick for him alongside the Syndra, so he clearly is going to know this matchup pretty well against CozQ.
It's been a dream meta for PowerOfEvil for quite a while.
I mean, there's no smite like Runeglaive anymore.
That's
but
fair,
I mean,
that's fair.
Second,
that
right?
would have been the dream, the #1 dream. But I still find a situation for him is when things like Syndra and Orianna have been meta for, I don't know, a year by now?
Long time.
Long time, and that's obviously two champions he loves to play. And no Nash's Tooth in this game. I dare make that prediction because he's not against like an auto-attacking mid laner. He's against a Syndra. So it should just be a standard build from PowerOfEvil.
Okay, well, might be a little boring there, but we still expect him to play a pivotal role.
I mean, maybe he goes Infinity Edge first item. Who knows?
Well, that's definitely one way to keep your opponents on edge. If you do something completely unexpected all across the board, CozQ will be backing away. But speaking of unexpected, you definitely have to respect where Maxlore can be. There's a reason the Zac is banned so frequently all over the place. And even with a lot more junglers coming in, it's a very, very powerful ganking champion, and not bad in teamfights either.
Oh, definitely not bad in teamfights. Game-changing ulti, if you use correctly. I think his Q, though, is really the thing also to look at. People sometimes ignore the amount of extra CC he gets from that when he gets to tag that one member, pull him into another guy or into a minion. So effective when it comes to chaining CC. Amazing is level 4. He's looking bot lane right now.
They won't have an ult to work with, but Hans Sama and Ignar could be in some trouble. The headbutt was going to just push the Braum back, but it's still going to be first blood for Yuki as he caught Hans Sama on the edge.
All right, good setup from the bottom lane here. Dreams attacking Hans Sama so early. And then with Amazing showing up, Hans Sama didn't manage to flash away, and he goes down. With the summoner still up, though. Meanwhile, top lane, PowerOfEvil and Maxlore, they're on the way. They want a piece of Kikis.
Oh boy, Kikis has to know something is up. He's gone on a retreat path right now, but there are pings right on his position. Getting flanked out. Maxlore looking to push his way forward for a stretching strike. Now walks right into him, but the Croc is going to rock and dash his way away.
I guess that's rocking.
I mean, he doesn't have a guitar, unfortunately. Otherwise, that would make a lot more sense. He's back to lane.
He's back in lane. That's
bold.
No, let's see. It's actually okay if he gets the full minion wave. I think it's a little early to dive him, and he knew level 6 was coming up, so probably felt pretty safe right there. Meanwhile, we actually get some potential action in the river. Nope, no one wants to fight a Rift Scuttler anymore. That was something that happened a long time ago. No one cares.
Amazing is going to get all the seafood. That's okay. Maxlore doesn't need it.
You don't actually need it either. You just kind of force it under the water. Smack it a few times in the head.
Yeah, and it retreats for a little while. You can't truly kill the Rift Scuttler, can you?
No, you can't. And apparently you can also, it can go under the ground if you killed it away from the river. CozQ, he's on his way. Maxlore. Taking
a break from Summon's Rift biology here as Amazing looks forward, gets the stop off, unleash the power. Maxlore is still going to hang tough, though. He does get stunned underneath the tower. And Kikis, he might be in some trouble himself as he is a little bit too far forward. Gets pulled right into Alphari, but he's still able to dash away. Unfortunately, he's going to have to flash if he wants out of this pit, but he thinks he can take on Alphari, at least until the final second.
Yeah, CozQ had already left back to the mid lane, and Amazing was actually on the other side of the wall here, so no one could help Kikis early on. Meanwhile, ulti was popped by him, and flash is now gone. Alphari's flash is ready soon. Maxlore to use his here, so a lot of summoners being traded in the top lane. No one dying topside, though.
But this is the Misfits' focus, right? You talked about how Mysterious Monkeys really need Kikis to be getting at least a little bit ahead to roll forward in the game. He's not gone on a split pushing option like the Jax that is going to scale up into a powerhouse. He's gone for an early game bully, and look what's happened. He's down 6 CS compared to his opponent.
Also, Bramble West again. Nice fight in the bot lane.
Yeah, here we go. Level 5 on Yuki. He's going to have to burn his flash. He's burning down with Ignite, and that's going to be Ignar coming up with that kill. And Dreams finds himself without an AD carry. Ignar going to go in for a combo. Gets the knock up. Hansama still dishing out arrows. He's trying to two-step, but it's not going to happen, unfortunately. Neither for Hansama.
PowerOfEvil in the mid lane, fighting against CozQ. It's going to flash.
Open up
He doesn't flash. Second game in a row, though, Pyro, where the bottom lane for Misfits, they're getting kills in the 2v2 lane. They even lost Hansama to that early gank. And they have an Alistar. And they're actually getting kills in this lane here. It's really impressive from Misfits. Let's see what happens with the fight, though. So they engage near the turret onto Yuki. All stacks ready for Ignar, even use stun on Dreams, but it's the ulti from Hansama that keeps Yuki in place. Yuki didn't manage to flash out of it, and then he actually just gets killed. I think he was very surprised with the amount of damage coming in time. Obviously, a nice chain CC possible for the Misfits bot lane. Sadly for Hansama, you're not getting out of that one. Still, though, that's another 2v2-1 by Misfits bottom lane. This was game 1, Hansama. 8-1-9. He went off. He looked fantastic on Kalista. This time around, he's died twice on the Varus, but at least he picked up a kill and assist, so he's still doing fine.
Yeah. No, Hansama has definitely had a solid series, and of course, we talked in Pick and Ban how we wanted to see him on, once again, another playmaking champion. Well, you still can make plays on Varus. Maybe they're just not as exciting. Everyone's just locked down. So yeah. PowerOfEvil can pretty much just kill everyone. It
is true. You are a utility AD carry, but you add a lot of value. Some wave clear, some CC. Good laning phase.
They know their win conditions on the side of Misfits. And the team, we definitely wanted to see some growth out of them. They were very vocal about how this was a year plan. Hussein was saying it over and over again with us on and off of broadcast that they wanted to get themselves to Worlds. They wanted to improve. They made one change with Kakao leaving, bringing in Maxlore. And he was supposed to be this big macro shot caller kind of guy, and it's kind of worked out.
Yeah, we're seeing a little bit of it. I think a guy who in the spring split looked very good, who's maybe not been able to show the same, is Alphari. And I think a lot of it actually comes down to how good he was in the laning phase in the spring split, where, as you can see in this graphic right here, his opponent's CS in the spring split was very low compared to the average. And meanwhile, just as we talk about it, there's a gank top lane.
Yeah, he's definitely getting some help, maybe not in the CS department, but in the kills.
Yeah, so once again, back to the graphic. Actually, never mind, because back to the bot lane, there's a gank.
Yeah, they don't want you to talk about the top. Sorry,
it's fine.
Hansama. No, Ignar, he's going to give you a chance.
And they don't even fully commit to this. That's the worst part. They just kind of half-ass walk in there, be like, nah, I don't really want to fight here. Anyway, point is, spring split, Alphari would dumpster people in lane. Average top CS at 10 minutes was 78. When you played Alphari, you got 72. So you always go further down than the average when you play against this guy specifically. Not been the same here in Summer Split. He did well in the last game, though, despite falling behind in CS. He did his job late on in the game. This one, he's actually doing very well in the top lane.
Oh, 100% now. Pushing Kikis back. He's still able to keep himself in that lead.
Yeah, so we really just want to see Alphari kind of find his new strength. If it's no longer just in being a lane bully, also due to the meta has changed, we gotta see him then shine in team fights, so split push, mid lane.
Oh, surprise! In comes the gang squad, and a Featherstorm means Yuki's gonna be able to pick up a kill. PowerOfEvil has turned Ori off.
I like that move so much from Mysterious Monkeys. There were still a few seconds on the cleanse from PowerOfEvil, so he couldn't get out of that ulti from Amazing, and he nailed that one straight in his face. Good kill in the mid lane from Mysterious Monkeys, and unlike the last game where we saw the aggressive moves, but then some missed skill shots, they're hitting them this time.
Just a little bit of growth, and this goes back to Mysterious Monkeys and the changes they made to their roster. They improved understanding the game, understanding the plan a little bit better with Kikis and Amazing, who have been veteran players in their roles for some time. And it was a big thing that Kikis was talking about, bringing veterans in that can help the newer players understand the game a little bit better, be able to make better coordinated plays, and that is exactly what we're talking about there.
Definitely true. If the Mysterious bot lane, Mysterious Monkeys bot lane...
Is a very mysterious bot lane Deficio?
They are. Right now it's mysterious that they die to a Varus Alistar lane.
Well, Braum is also melee.
That's true, but he's very good at being defensive and protecting his AD carry. I guess actually the fact that Ignar in the last fight stunned the Braum allowed Hansama to just straight up hit on Yuki because Dreams couldn't get in the way. And then suddenly Yuki was actually caught out. some other small things in 2v2s happening. Be very impactful.
And Yuki has gotten a couple of kills. It's helped him get that Essence Reaver completed as well. There's the Shockwave. That's one he's hit on this game, and no assistance required. Pulling CozQ back. Maxlore looked for the stretching strike, but it's PowerOfEvil that finishes the job.
Oh, 1v1 kill in the mid lane. And again, that's one of the problems for Mysterious Monkeys. You're looking at some of these guys here who individually can get outplayed a little bit. It happened bot lane. It's now happening mid as well. Big kill here for PowerOfEvil on this Orianna. Nomicon already completed. He's feeling great despite dying earlier to that gank.
Yeah, obviously frustrating when you just almost have your cleanse back up and there's a whole lot of CC coming straight at you. But he managed to get himself a solo kill to even things out a little bit. That gold game is dead on even, by the way, as Kikis takes his place back up top.
And again, Alphari doing well in the top lane against the Renekton pick, meaning Alphari's impact in the mid to late game is obviously much easier to utilize because he's a Jarvan EQ combo into his ulti and you have a fight started. You need a bit more coordination with pushing a lane as a Renekton, then roaming to join the team. Not the same here for Alphari. Let's see the 1v1, CozQ, no flash. Good ulti from PowerOfEvil. Maxlore here just to add some assistance. But the last auto attack from PowerOfEvil.
He stretched for that one. That flew quite a distance as he got the flash off. So CozQ is going to have to watch his back, be a little bit careful. And this is where the monkeys can fall down in the individual plays.
Still no flash on CozQ.
CozQ really committing for that ward, but he gets knocked up and bopped up. And now flashing forward is going to be Ignar. Unleash the power, but it's not going to be enough.
God damn it, CozQ. You have no flash. You have no backup. Why do you need to kill that ward? That was too easy for Ignar and Misfits Gaming. Nice roam from the Alistar, but when you find a no-flash Syndra, literally sitting right there in front of you and not moving, then that's one of the easier kills you're going to get.
PowerOfEvil's definitely not going to scoff at it. That'll help him buy a little bit more, and since he is such a critical part of his team's damage in this game, Misfits have to be very happy about it as they take their places around the Dragon Pit. Of course, Skullcrab had already been taken by the Mysterious Monkeys. But it's not really worth trying to fight over the Drake. We're still only 15 minutes just into this game.
Yeah, and obviously, as we talked about earlier, how once you go into team fighting, both teams can offer quite a lot in these 5-on-5s, but there are two mega tanks plus the Jarvan with Stoneblade, who then becomes a tank, and the Orianna who's getting fed right now. That combination tells me that Misfits Gaming will have an easier time executing their fights, which is very important for the next big 5-on-5s we're going to have in this game. I think Mysterious Monkeys will rely a lot on Amazing and Dreams to actually apply CC and find one guy, kill that one guy, go to the next guy. Because once you get Sejuani Braum as that combo, it's so easy to apply the Braum passive, get his stun, then you actually get the frozen stacks from the Sejuani. That's her stun coming in as well. And you can keep a guy locked in place forever. But it's one guy you focus, where it's AoE on Misfits.
Well, it looks like they're focusing on CozQ once again, keeping forward, and it's Maxlore that gets a strike to finish the job. On to mid tower they go. Misfits should be able to knock down the first one.
CozQ had not died, lost his flash, and within the duration of the flash cooldown, he's died 3 times now and lost his mid tower. I call that a very, 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 very big deal. When losing a flash results in being 0-3 and lose your tower.
Just got to be able to change your playstyle here when you don't have those key summoner spells. Now Yuki's getting rooted up and Dreams gets knocked back into tower range. Teleport coming in for Kikis, but it looks like it might be a little late. Featherstorm coming out. Kikis is getting some disruption on. 2 stuns here, but in comes Maxlore with a bounce. Doesn't manage to pick anybody up, but it's Alphari gets Dreams. And it looks like that's going to be a double kill now as he's able to take down Yuki as well, finishing the bottom lane. Kikis does fire return kill onto Maxlore, however, not the cleanest dive from the Misfits.
They still get 3 kills, Pyra. That's a big deal for them. Oh, sorry, 2 kills in the bottom lane. Yuki and Dreams going down. CozQ, of course, died earlier in this. Doesn't really count for the actual fight. They got the kill mid. They moved down bot lane instantly. Set up everything with the Alistar and the Zac. It's one of the big front lines we talk about with the insane amount of CC, and really very easy for the damage dealers on Misfits to just kind of sit there and shoot away on the back line of Mysterious Monkeys. And yes, they do lose the one guy on the way out. Still worth it for Misfits Gaming.
So not too bad for them, and you can see that there's not a Jason in this game. So I don't know what that damage is.
Well, champions from last game, damage from this game.
Oh, we want to check in anyways.
From the last fight.
All good. Okay, so CozQ clearing the wave out, pushing back. But yeah, the monkeys definitely need to be able to at least take one game here to try and separate themselves from the pack, prove that they can start to beat out some of these middle tier teams. They've only beaten teams on the lower half of the table, and only in cross group once they've acquired Kikis and Amazing. They've got some tough opponents to play once they go back to their own group.
Obviously, very true. We have seen, though, Mysterious Monkeys against the bottom teams from Group A do very well. Beat Rocket, beat NIP. And next week, they play Vitality on their own.
The team that's right up above them.
The team right above them. So Mysterious Monkeys obviously want Vitality to lose every game so they can overtake them and put them down in the promotion tournament. But a lot of it is on Mysterious Monkeys as well to then win that series. They're still trying to get back in this game. You guys get to see the remaining schedule for them. It doesn't get easier if you are the Mysterious Monkeys, because you got that Vitality game in week 8, and then it's Unicorns, Love Supplies, and H2K, obviously in their own group. All 3 teams that we would consider around the Misfits level, and we are currently seeing Mysterious Monkeys struggle against Misfits.
Yeah, need to see what they can do growing a little bit further. If not, they are going to be stuck in that promotion tournament. However, the growth from them with the roster changes has been nice to see. It just, is it going to be enough?
I think they're going to be fine. I haven't been very impressed with the EU Challenger teams this split, so I think Mysterious Monkeys, from what we've seen in the LCS, should come in as quite a favorite if they do go down in that pro tournament. That's still a few weeks away. Let's talk about this game instead, because Misfits Gaming, they're showing great things. I love the new draft from them. Ton of engage every single time, being proactive on the map. Kikis, he wants to kill Alphari.
Yeah, but he's got a flag and drag back to the safety of his tower. Now Dreams, he's going to get knocked up on headbutt, pull combo, unbreakable. Hans Sama really wants to finish this one. A hail of arrows comes down, but he just doesn't have the damage. Even popped his Blade of the Ruined King to try and keep slow on here. 19 minutes into this game. It is still a Misfits lead. Not as huge as it was the last time around for sure, though.
PowerOfEvil right now sitting on 2,500 gold. He's going back, getting that loot and Zeko, upgrades his boots as well. Dreams, he wanted to face check, but...
Oh boy, he's gonna have to pay for that one. And in comes Zach, popping up with the Glacial Fissure, but it doesn't matter because Yuki is gonna have to Featherstorm back under the safety of the tower, and maybe Misfits have gone a little too deep. Hanzama finding Amazing on the other side.
Oh, he missed it.
Can't decide who he wants to kill. He's gonna go ahead and take down the AD carry. And that ends in 1 kill so far. Maxlore flashing over, CozQ following through, looking to unleash the power onto Ignar, but he's got an unbreakable will. And he's gonna stay alive.
So right there, Mysterious Monkeys actually managed to stay alive. It looked pretty rough early on. Maxlore and the bottom lane from Misfits going for that play. Amazing showing up behind them though, getting that 1 kill in return. They get a tower as well. They're gonna try and even out this gold.
Yeah.
PowerOfEvil is on the way bot lane though to try and kill Kikis.
Oh, well, they're going to be able to get a tower of their own, so that starts to even things up now. Can Kikis live? I don't think so. Shockwave pulling him in, and see you later, Alligator. Alphari's going to come up with that kill.
So after losing that fight top lane, we do see a nice cross-map play down the bottom lane. Alphari 3 kills on this Jarvan here, doing well in his lane. PowerOfEvil with the roams, but let's see the play. Engage from Ignar into flash towards Yuki. Gets the stun onto Yuki as well. He actually tried, I think, to get the full combo on both of them. But in the end, he doesn't manage to get a whole lot, and Yuki actually stays alive, and Amazing just shows up behind.
I feel like that pull-in from the Zac actually helped out Yuki because he was just within tower range after that. He was able to get the Featherstorm off, and then they just couldn't go any deeper to dive him. Yeah, a little bit of a wonky play by Misfits.
And as I said before there, Ignar tried to do his full combo where he knocks everyone up with the Q, and then he flashes in range of Yuki to get him knocked up as well. But it was just slightly mistimed. The Q actually didn't apply onto Yuki, so he didn't get knocked up, he didn't get CC'd, and he was able to then stay alive after. Drake though started. Should be an easy one for Misfits, and action-packed games, man. This series have actually been super fun to watch because there's been so many fights happening left and right. I don't feel like there's been like a boring moment in any of these 2 games where you've been like, oh, here's 20 minutes of farming incoming. It's been like, oh, is that a mid laner sitting there? Fight him. Bot lane, fight him. Top lane, fight that guy. Everyone just hates each other here.
Yeah, it's definitely been a bit of a melee for sure. 21 minutes in, you have 13 kills on the board, and the last game was pretty bloody as well. So it's nice, and especially as a play-by-play, I really love this kind of style where you just don't have to take a breath.
There's just so many small things happening in the fights.
Shockwave's gonna pull in Dreams. He was unbreakable. But you can see PowerOfEvil starting to dish the damage on this Orianna. Luden's Echo complete, as you were saying. He's still walking on those brown bags, but he's going all in on the damage.
He's fed though. You don't need boots to deal damage.
That's true, you don't. What about Sork shoes? That helps a bit.
They do help, but as you can see, PowerOfEvil, he doesn't need them boots. He just wants some magic resist from his instead.
All right, keep himself nice and safe.
That's how it is in the world, Pyro. If you want to deal more damage to people, you need a book and a staff.
Well, I will take your word for it, Deficio.
You deal damage with your brain, the knowledge.
That's certainly true. Knowledge is power now. Alphari leading the minion wave into Kikis. Hasn't really been able to get the better of him without some help, though. And even though he's 3-0, I feel like Kikis has not done too terrible in this game, but Alphari is going to get found out by Amazing and Dreams. Flag and drag away, and he's going to have to flash, but there's a big croc right on top of him. And Amazing's going to be able to get a stun off for just a second, or is he? Because Dreams has collapsed. So has CozQ, and he might be tanky, but not enough to survive.
Sejuani Braum combo. You tag one guy with either Sejuani or Braum, and one of the CCs will apply after a few hits on that guy. This time it was Amazing CC coming in first, and then Dreams applying after. And it's so hard to get away as a single target.
Yeah, so much sticking power on those big tanks. And it's so hard to kill them, too. The Warmugs on Amazing, he's going to have all that regen to work with. Shockwave will pull in Dreams, but he was unbreakable. The damage is blocked. And now Mysterious Monkeys can finish off this tower in the mid.
Good plays here from Mysterious Monkeys, using that one kill on Alphari to get a tower. Once again, we're entering that big team fight area where all the tanks are going to run straight at each other with a ton of CC. And at first, no one is going to die. But if you get onto the back line, that's the key part. If you suddenly get a great shockwave, CozQ might die instantly. And then the damage is not there for Mysterious Monkeys to kill the front line of Misfits. And tank v tank meta is always about who kills the front line first, or which carry makes a mistake and just dies instantly so there's no damage.
Well, if your team isn't around, I think that counts as a mistake, as Dreams is getting caught. Double TP coming in, but one is definitely going to have to get canceled. So is the other. Misfits now looking to go back to the mid lane, have a lot of vision around Baron, but it hasn't been a huge priority this game. Only been on the Rift for 4 minutes, I suppose.
No Kalista this time around to force it early.
Oh boy. In comes Maxlore,
nice.
knocked back by CozQ. That was nice, but he does get one strike on, and he's going to get taken down. PowerOfEvil with the shockwave pulling him back. He's been hitting a lot.
And that's a carry dying right now. That was one of the two options we had right there. That means now Misfits can actually start the fight, and they will also win option 1, which is who can keep their front line alive. Because now there's only one damage dealer on the side of Mysterious Monkeys. That's Yuki. It's going to take him forever to kill a Jarvan, a Xayah, and an Alistar.
That's true. Amazing. You'd have to hero Blast Cone or Arctic Assault over this wall. It's a little bit more even without the Kalista up and available. But we've seen Misfits able to peel off the big purple worm before. And in comes Alphari. That's going to signal the start of this fight. Ignar gets a knock up onto Dreams, but they focus their attention onto Kikis. And Amazing his focus is onto Hansama. There goes the Jarvan pit down. They've caught Dreams. Yuki flashing away after the Featherstorm. Misfits, they are tanky enough. Pull them together. Now Kiss, says Maxlore. And Amazing is going to be caught by himself as Kikis gets knocked away. Hansama claims a kill, and this is definitely the Baron.
That's what we said right here. If you can't kill the front line, they will get to you at some point. They will actually manage to put their carries in a position to hit the enemy back line and take them down. Yuki right there was trying so hard, but again, he was alone as a damage dealer because CozQ died before.
Not much you could do in that situation.
Nothing you can do.
Yeah, Misfits, this is starting to look like game number 1. There's a little more back and forth. Mysterious Monkeys had the fights, but this time around it was Alphari that started things off.
Because you can see right now how it's actually good engagement, Amazing on the backline and Sama and PowerOfEvil. But Dreams and Yuki are just spending all their time hitting frontline. They're not getting any damage, and then the ball gets in position from PowerOfEvil, and that's where you get your kill. So that's basically the setup of these fights here. If you manage to kill the enemy tank before your tank dies, you can move more aggressive, you can actually play more forward, you can actually go for the backline. If you just keep tanks alive and just hit each other, it's all about a mistake from a carry who gets caught out there. And if that doesn't happen, you just have a fight where no one dies for quite a while until one tank drops.
If everybody plays it out all perfectly, but we have definitely been seeing some mistakes. Misfits will be able to widen that gold lead that had come so close to closing from the Mysterious Monkeys for some time, and they really just need to be able to find a fight, but it's going to get harder and harder against the Baron empowered minions all 5 members of Misfits have.
Another reason for the tank meta being in action right now is the amount of crazy good items you can build as a tank at the moment. We added a lot of different items to the game or reworked other items, like Stoneplate is great in almost every game as a tank. Never get it first item, but get it second, third. Use it, of course, to double that HP in the big team fights. Makes you basically a tank on just one with one tank item. So you can, if you look at Jarvan right now, Black Cleaver, Titanic Hydra. He's not really a big tank. If you give him just a Stone Plate and nothing else, he's actually a massive tank that's almost impossible to kill because of that Stone Plate.
Definitely does a little bit less damage, of course, but you know, it's really not the bad trade-off. And Stone Plate is such a good item as well. You can add a little more protection, and CozQ wishing he had some himself as Maxlore goes on in. Looking for Amazing. No, looking for Yuki. They're going to be able to finish him off. It's Alphari with a Dragon Strike to take it down. They don't care about towers because they found themselves a whole bunch of monkeys. Dreams is going to be knocked down, isolated. It's Kikis who's cutting the legs off the wave, but it's not going to matter.
Same thing again, Pyra. CozQ dies early, no damage left on the Mysterious Monkeys, and the tanks from Misfits are just diving straight at Yuki. He's left alone in the back. There's nothing he can do as an AD carry. And Misfits, again, with the amount of engage in their composition here, they can just constantly find these openings. PowerOfEvil obviously starting it twice now with good shockwaves. But then you can be sure that Alphari and Maxlore joins.
Yeah, you have to give him a pretty good grade, wouldn't you say? All those shockwaves so far, not perfect, but just about every one of them.
We said it's almost impossible to miss in this game.
Well, yeah. I mean, he does have them kind of lined up, and then Maxlore is able to keep it going.
Yeah, and Yuki right now, I mean, what are you going to do?
Not much. And then Kikis is like, all right, I guess I'm over here.
I'm killing the minions then. He actually ran down and killed another wave right after to try and stop them from getting that mid-inhib.
Feels bad when the Renekton has to go and farm all the way back there, and there's nothing else to do.
And look, Jarvan has the Stone Plate. Congratulations, Jarvan. You are now a massive tank.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, he had some spare gold.
Great job.
Great job. 5 kills and 1 death in the game. Alphari's definitely having a solid one. Now Dragon gets smited down. That's the second Ocean, so Misfits have even more regeneration, even more sustainability. These fights could go on a long time if Mysterious Monkeys can stay alive.
But they can't. And that's the problem. Because the shockwave from PowerOfEvil will find either CozQ or Yuki. And if that doesn't connect, well, we have seen Alphari with some damage. PowerOfEvil might get caught now.
Kikis has a little bit, but the Ice Bullet coming out to try and help him. There isn't a lot of damage. Follow-up teleport now coming in. PowerOfEvil will finish off Kikis, so it's a 5v4. There are 2 damage dealers, but their front line is taking a pounding. It's actually 4v4 because Alphari's up top. He's unperturbed completely.
He doesn't care anymore. Just wants to split push now.
And now he's got the Stone Plate.
Yeah, that's what you build it for. It's the split pushing item.
Guys, I got this. The tower can't hurt me.
Also got Knight's Vow coming in for Maxlore just to join the group of fantastic tank items you can build right now. Locket is great as well.
Face of the Mountain on Ignar. I mean, there's a lot of protection. Absolutely.
Get some cowbell finally.
Yes, there we go. That's what we were missing this game.
I think sometime Wadid did share with us the secret to cowbell is you got to do it early on in the game to win. If you don't, you will lose.
Well, he did do it. It just wasn't as much as Wadid maybe did as CozQ gets pulled on in. It's PowerOfEvil with a dominating kill, and Ignar locking up the rest of Mysterious Monkeys. Dreams trying to get away desperately away from his own base as Power coming up with a double. This Orianna is Orianna as Ignar is getting another kill. Shockwave pulling back in. Amazing. Desperately trying to get back to Fountain. He will make it, but he is battered and bruised, and Kikis is still there to defend. Misfits, maybe they can't end just yet, but they're going to get damn close.
They skip the towers. They just walk by, just get some more kills. They will take down mid-inhib. 20 seconds on CozQ, 24 on Yuki. Let's see if Misfits can actually just close out the game.
All right, all on the back of all this damage that they've got from the Orianna. Those tanks are tanking. The front line is huge. Hansama getting 1 kill, and Amazing knows all he can do is stand there, spam his lap, and hope for some kind of miracle, but it doesn't look like it's coming anytime soon. CozQ tags his way in. But you need all your teammates to try and defend against these Misfits. Yuki, CozQ, the damage dealers, they do not have a front line to depend on. Featherstorm comes out. Alphari is going to get taken down. The Shockwave pulling CozQ back in. And PowerOfEvil is legendary. And ain't that the story of this game? 1 more kill on Yuki for the ace. And Misfits close out 2-0.
Another great draft from Misfits here, really suiting them to run with so many tools to set up PowerOfEvil and these team fights. Really can't stress that enough. Let's remember, Mysterious Monkeys were like, Zach or Sjokz? Okay, they banned none of them. Maxlore instantly locked the Zach. Orianna came in instead of Syndra from PowerOfEvil. The Sjokz wasn't even picked up on the side of Mysterious Monkeys. It got banned in the second phase, so they didn't actually get anything from that trade. And we just see why the Zach is so strong, especially with the Orianna to back him up.
Well, and it's so many tools. Like, you talked about it at being a main point. This Orianna literally could not miss. Alphari was able to still get everyone inside the Cataclysm. Maxlore was delivering the ball. He was even keeping everyone together. Hansama was doing his job. And Ignar, once again, when they engages. I mean, when this team is on, when they work on their game plan, the execution, it looks so crisp.
So we had PowerOfEvil. He was part of 24 kills out of 26 in this game. There were some solo kills in there, but there was also just every single team fight. Even before the fights, he's the man catching CozQ, killing CozQ, setting up a Baron play. Like, so many things went very well here from Misfits. And funny enough, it wasn't just through the early laning phase. And I think that's a key thing to highlight, because against H2K, that was like the thing they managed to do. They got good ganks, they got super far ahead, but then they couldn't play the mid to late game at all, and they lost. Yeah. This time around, they were actually very even from the start of the game, like 10, 15 minutes, but it was in the mid game with forcing engages. That's where they really pulled ahead. And that was a big change from what we saw a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it was a nice adaptation from the Misfits squad, and it's a perfect time for them to actually do it. You know, sitting in the middle of Group A, you need every single win you can get to try and push yourselves further and further. Obviously, they're sitting in a playoff position, but they want to make sure that's safe and make sure that they're going to go on a hot streak towards the end of it.
Because Rocket just won, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's a playoff race right now.
Also, G2 just kind of overtook them a little bit, but now they're kind of trying to catch up as well. It's important. There's a lot of standings implications here.
Very close place there. Now, Misfits Gaming did secure the win against Mysterious Monkeys, so let's go over to the analyst desk to wrap up the series.
Thank you very much. Mysterious Monkeys delivered the first 2-0 victory of the 4 days of play we're going to have ahead of us. We didn't see any team pulling it off now, but did I say Mysterious Monkeys?
Misfits.
It was the Misfits. You didn't want to correct me.
No, I was going to say, there's a lot of M's. They used to be the same organization. It's all good.
Definitely so. But it was a Misfits. They managed to pull off the 2-0 victory. Very good on the side of them. And I'm not much the wiser, because it seemed like they had obviously a weaker opponent. But as Deficio said, there were some changes in how they approached this game as being even through most of it.
Yeah, I liked the way Misfits made an adjustment this game. It was more of the same of starting fights, but this time they recognized mid lane was going to be a focus for the Mysterious Monkeys. And as we go into the first couple of replays, you can see that that's where Mysterious Monkeys first take their priority, trying to snowball CozQ ahead. So this is the early game plays we saw out of Mysterious Monkeys, trying to get ahead. The reaction I like is the fact that Kikis is already being contained in the top lane, and Misfits say, you know what, CozQ now doesn't have a flash, let's go mid lane. And it's kill after kill after kill, shutting this Syndra out of the game, and suddenly the Misfits are so strong, they can just continue walking through mid and taking fights whenever they want.
Not a fun time for CozQ, definitely not. They keep focus on him, and you mentioned the top lane being contained, and Henning, you were talking about the Bramble Vest usage out of Alphari specifically to be good in that matchup.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried, to be honest, to see that initially as the Jarvan is getting blind picked into Kikis, who we know likes to split push, so there are so many like counter picks that can be picked up into that. Goes for the Renekton, and then the Bramble Vest just shuts him down. I'm not sure how this matchup is supposed to go in 7.14, but before that, this was a matchup where Renekton could pressure early. Instead, it's Alphari with the CS lead. It's Alphari doing really well, and that's the big difference from the first game where Kikis was actually able to get a big advantage. Now this time, it's Alphari just being able to keep him down.
It's a very small price to pay against the Renekton, 900 gold to shut down his healing, shut down some of his damage. All of that laning phase kind of falls away, and then you go, okay, I'll just stay there. I'll build the rest of my build, and you're completely out of this game. I think it's a very smart buy. I'm looking forward to seeing more of the Jarvan matchups and seeing how the Bramble Vest tilts top lane.
Yeah, definitely so. Very interesting when I was watching. You know, we often talk about Kikis, and he has the oddball picks, which makes that the enemies visit his lane often because they want to shut him down. It almost seems because he was on the Renekton, they didn't have to visit him. Alphari knew he had the upper hand. The next on the plate was the mid lane, and maybe that's more difficult for Mysterious Monkeys because we know that CozQ has been a bit prone to overextending a bit in these circumstances. So it's all a domino effect to me.
Yeah, it's a big domino effect because CozQ is the type of player that when he dies once or twice, he's kind of likely to keep just going aggressive and trying to make plays out on the map, pushing forward. And again, that's another area. We talked about how Misfits, when his flash was down in the early game, kept visiting him. Well, all of the team fights kind of found themselves in the middle lane. Not quite Unicorns of Love-esque, but Misfits just saying, okay, we can just throw Zac at them, throw everything we've gotten. Alphari was so far ahead, he could just walk through a team fight as well.
Much like game one, whenever the mid game came and those big game objectives, Misfits were able to always fight their way out of the situation, engage the fight, and grab the objective. This time around, we talked about the tools they have. It was a bit more intricate, but still pretty straightforward to engage the fight.
Just look at the Zac here. I mean, there's a reason he's been pretty much permanently picked or banned throughout the entire summer split. He can just initiate from so far of a range. Ignar with a good follow-up on Alistar as well, and then in the backline just PowerOfEvil and Hansama dealing out the damage, not even getting threatened at all in these sort of team fights. So look at Zach here to be such a strong pick. Also interesting that Amazing had the opportunity to go for a Gragas, which is sort of considered a soft counter pick as you can interrupt the Elastic Slingshot. Chose to go for the Sejuani instead, which I think is fine here, but you just like, you leave Zach open and you gotta pay for it.
You pair it with the Orianna. They'd already had the damage done and got CozQ out of that fight before that even happened. So it was a 5 versus 4 from the get-go. And PowerOfEvil had a great series. Giving him the Orianna is always going to work out well. We were talking about that a lot during the game of how versatile it is. But PowerOfEvil, once again, another week in the books. And this guy's putting up some massive numbers.
Yeah, he's almost the embodiment of Orianna. I know he's always steady in the laning phase. He's safe. He can protect his teammates. He can make a play here or there.
No Nash's tooth this
No
time.
Nash's tooth, though. Nothing crazy. He did that on Syndra in game 1, but our player of the series was Ignar. It was definitely a toss-up between the two, but Ignar, we've said it so many times, when he has the tools in a meta where he can engage, he thrives. And especially his Rakan engages in game 1 are they're staying on my mind as some really, really good catalysts for Misfits playstyle.
Yeah, no hesitation, just really good mechanics as well with the flash engages both on the Rakan and the Alistar. The metagame really suits him right now, so definitely a well-deserved player of the series for Ignar right there.
Great stuff for Ignar. Let's turn our attention to the Mysterious Monkeys to close it out, because where does this leave them? We saw the schedule that is coming up for them. They are playing Vitality, H2K, Splice, and the Unicorns of Love in the next couple of weeks. So let's start with the doable match, right? Vitality. Right. At the level they're at now, do you see them beating them, Henning?
Honestly, not really. It's going to be a tall task for them. If you're a Mysterious Monkey fan, your word after today, I think especially in the mid lane, because what we've been seeing Vitality really focusing on is to get Nuke Duck rolling. And we saw how it happened today when CozQ got targeted by the enemy team in mid lane. He did not have a good showing. So that's what I'm really worried about for Monkeys in the next week's games.
Especially if Vitality are playing the Tahm Kench Ashe style they have been over the last couple of weeks. If they can get fights started, Kikis won't be much of a problem. If Nuke Duck is crushing CozQ in the middle lane and the fights are starting everywhere else, it's a winnable match, but it's a difficult one. I think the Misfits was actually maybe more of a stylistic matchup for Mysterious Monkeys than Vitality are.
Well, time will tell if they are able to beat them. That is next week, but for today, we have much more action coming up. Splice and Ninjas in Pajamas get on stage, and we'll have Alphari and Maxlore joining us for the analysis, so stay with us.
Again, nice fight in the bot lane.
Yeah, here we go. Level 5 on Yuki's going to have to burn his flash. He's burning down with Ignite, and that's going to be Ignar.
Still no flash on CozQ.
CozQ really committing for that ward, but he gets knocked up and popped up. And now flashing forward is going to be Ignar. Unleashed the power, but it's not going to be enough. Yuki flashing away after the Featherstorm. They are tanky enough. Pull them together. Now Kiss, says Maxlore. And Amazing is going to be caught by himself as Kikis gets knocked away. Mysterious Monkeys, Dreams trying to get away desperately away from his own base as Power coming up with a double. This Orianna is Orianna as Ignar is getting another kill. Shockwave pulling back in. Amazing, desperately trying to get back to Fountain.
Oh, Yuki! But you KS everything, by the way. Holy moly.
I have one more kill on Yuki for the ace, and Misfits close out 2-0.